Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to go over a mapping strategy that I've been doing that I've been having a lot of fun with. I'm not sure how competitive it is in the fact of like profit per hour. I haven't really done the math, but if you're like the kind of guy that is just looking for a new way to map or is looking for an entertaining way to map and is wanting to have a little bit of fun, then this might be the strategy for you. It's also profitable. It's just not insanely profitable, I guess is the way to put it. Unless you get lucky. And that is Harbinger farming with the new Maven Sextant node. So this new keystone for the Maven came out that applies extra bosses to your maps. And if you take the Sextant that makes it so that bosses drop Harbinger shards and like currency shards, that applies to all the extra bosses that the Maven drops. So you tie that together with all of the extra boss drop nodes, such as the remnants of the past, final bosses and maps have a 3% chance of dropping an Elder and Shaper Guardian map, and then you get the Conqueror one and the Synthesis one, as well as like final map boss drop additional map currency items, and final map bosses can drop Maven invitation, stuff like that. And then you take all the Harbinger nodes, all the map duplication nodes, all the map tier up nodes, and that's about where the tree is. So if we do the math, it's something like, I think it's something like 6 div per hour. So let me try and break it down here the best I can. You buy a Harbinger Sextant for 150 chaos, and that gets you 16 maps, okay? And then you need 4 of each Shaper map because you're going to be running formed rotations. Alternatively, you can do Elderslayer rotations, but I like to do the formed ones. You get one less boss, but the fights are a little more consistent, and the expenses are cheaper, which means that, you spend less time shopping and more time farming with the formed rotations because the maps drop more often, the invitations drop more often, so you're not going out of your way to buy the maps invitations as often. But let's say you do have to spend on your 4 formed invitations and your 16 maps. So the 16 maps, I believe, is 12 chaos apiece. Let me break out a calculator here. So we do 12 chaos apiece, 16 maps, and then we add the sextant cost, and then we add formed, which I think is 145 chaos each. So 145 times 4. So it's about 927 chaos for 16 maps, okay? Within those 16 maps, you get 2 Maven orbs, pretty much guaranteed. So that is 2.6 divines. So if we do 927 chaos, which is our expenses. Oh, actually, let's add the expense of the sack fragments for 16 maps, um, which is basically non-existent because everyone should just have sacrifice fragments laying around, but let's just say 1 to 4, 1 chaos for 4 fragments, so we'll do an extra 16 chaos on that. And then Gilded, we're doing +6 chaos per Harbinger map recipe, and we're doing that 16 times. So what is that? That's 96 chaos on top, and then Gilded Harbinger Scarabs. And I think Harbinger Scarabs are going for like 8 chaos apiece right now. 7 chaos, 1 div for 27. So we'll say we'll add an extra 80 chaos, let's say. So our total price is 1,120 chaos. Divide that by 230. We get our price for 16 maps is 4.86 divines. So we'll do 4.86 divines, right? So we get our Maven orbs. That's minus 2.6 divines. So now we have 2.26 divines to cover. If we, on average, I've been getting 4 formed invitations back per 16 maps I run. So that covers that cost, which is what, 145 times 4. That's 580. Divide that by 230. That's 2.5 divs. Okay, so now we're already in the profit of 0.3 divs, and then we're also getting about, we're getting a shaper map, maybe, I mean, guaranteed one in every 4 maps, pretty much, but we're also getting other random maps. So it's kind of hard to justify how much that's costing us, but let's just say that's like an extra zero point 0.2 divines, zero point 0.3 divines on top for extra map currency and map drops. And then you have your currency shards within 16 maps. I was noticing I was getting about uh, 18 orbs of annulment and 15 orbs of ancient orbs. So that's about 1.5 divines, maybe close to 2 divines worth of fragment currency. And then we also get about 2 exalted orbs per 16 maps, maybe like 3 exalted orbs per 16 maps, which is about 45 chaos, which is point, what is that, like 0.2 divines. And then you get your fracturing shards. You usually get about 2 to 3 fracturing shards per 16 maps on average. Of course, you do get lucky. So we'll just say an extra divine for the fracturing shards. And then the Maven drops occasionally. Within 16 maps, I was typically getting at least one Awakened Support Gem. That Awakened Support Gem has been LE damage with attacks the most often, but has been also things like Awakened Brutality and Awakened Cold Penetration, just some other garbage. So we'll just say for Awakened Gems, we're probably getting another 0.5 divs worth. And we're sitting at about 4 divs per 16 maps, 3.8 divs per 16 maps. I know that was a lot of math rambling, and I'm probably missing something too. Oh, I guess you get Harbinger orbs too, which is like 1 div to 75, but that's the long game. You typically only get like maybe zero point 0.2 divs worth of Harbinger orbs per 16 maps. And then of course any extra currency you find within the map is just a profit on top of that. So about about 4 div per hour. Of course, with the upside of if you get a mirror shard, that's like 23 divines just out of nowhere. You could also drop a hard mirror. You could drop a fracturing orb. That's like 10 divines or 480 divines if you drop a whole mirror. Obviously, the odds of that happening are very low, but not impossible. So yeah, the swing of this is very high, but mainly I've been enjoying this because it's a lot of fun. It's an active strategy that keeps you engaged. It doesn't require a ton of buying or a ton of commitment. It's just the Harbinger node plus Maven invitations and maps, so it's like very easy to buy for, um, very satisfying to run. So I've been doing it on Flicker Strike because I've noticed that this strategy works best with zoomy builds. So your lightning warp arrows, your flicker strikes, your blade vortexes, those kind of builds, your tornado shots, the kind of builds that can go fast will profit the most out of this. Whatever can get things done the fastest can go from Harbinger to Harbinger the fastest. And you're just trying to the more maps you can do per hour, the higher your profit per hour is going to be. Of course, it's 4 div for 16 maps profit about. So if you're getting 4 div per 16 map profit and you're running 16 maps in say 40 minutes, then that means you're getting about 6 div per hour. So that's something to consider as well. If you can get your maps done within 2 minutes, depending on what maps you're running, you don't have to do the formed rotations. You can do regular rotations. You can do Elderslayer rotations. That those work as well. You could do the actual like Elder rotations. I forget the name of the invitation. It's called like the Forgotten or something. You'd get a different outcome on your end result for profit per hour based on speed. Of course, Harbingers are always going to slow you down, so it's hard to justify. But basically, the strategy setup is you use 3 different types of sacrifice fragments and a Harbinger Scarab in the map device with your map. You are 20% qualitying and alching your map. You're then using the Shaper Sextant. If you're doing formed rotation, you can use the Shaper Sextant. Of course, you don't have to because, like I said, you will typically get your maps back, but you might run out if you're not running the Shaper Sextant. And then you run the Harbinger Sextant. And past that, you're just using the map atlas, which I'll leave in the description for you guys to take a look at. It's pretty simple. It's just map duplication nodes and end of map nodes, and then Harbinger nodes, some Maven nodes. And yeah, that's pretty much the strategy, guys. This is kind of a quick video. I just really wanted to get this out here and kind of explain what I've been up to when it comes to actually playing the game. I've been enjoying the strategy. There's a lot of cool random drops and stuff that happen. There's a lot of dopamine hits. And something that's interesting about Harbingers is they're not affected by quantity of items found on your gear. I think they might be affected by quantity of area, but because you're not actually killing the Harbinger doesn't equate anyone as killing them, which means whatever they drop is not based on quantity and rarity of items found on your gear, which means Magic Find does not uh, impact Harbinger drops. So this is not like a Magic Find specific strategy. Harbingers can be farmed by any build pretty much equally. There is no upside to being Magic Find. Of course, if you can up the quantity of items found in your area, that might have an impact. It's kind of hard to tell, but based on my recent experience, I've noticed that area quantity seems to impact the drop rates of the Harbingers. Of course, I don't have any player quantity, but based on recent Magic findings, me playing Magic Find a lot in the past, I've never noticed it make any impact on Harbingers. There's also plenty of information online that proves my theory. So, yeah, that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick video kind of explaining my Harbinger strategy and what I've been up to. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, see ya.